What's happening, Nerdtopians? I'm Doolin and Dalton.
And I'm Rick Rodriguez.
Welcome to Nerdtopia.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting in the corner of Dr. Doom's basement, but he's our homie, so we never ever pay rent. It's N to the E to the Nerdtopia, like a plasma cannon, man, you know we're steady smoking. Yep, comics, books, movies, and video games are our claim to fame and recognition of name. We've changed the reign, but kept it the same, and we hope to gain acclaim from time and again. We're coming at you, reaping from Walking Dead, and you know we got pissed when the Reddit ran red. A plethora of guests, even more than Bill and Ted. The ratings of the Lost are gonna go to our head. It's dangerous to go alone, your iPod should have us, and Superheroes got a back and that you can trust. We're blowing up crazy large, like our name was Alderaan, so let's give a hand to Doolin, cause his mic is on. Word.
Oh, man. Good to be back. Good to be back. Good to have you back here, Rick.
Absolutes, man. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, we've done a couple podcasts before. It's always good to get you back in there. I think we came in a couple episodes ago and broke down Game of Thrones, the season finale.
Yes, indeed.
And it's time to bring you back in, man, because you and I have to talk about one of our favorite things. I think one of the things that we kind of became friends over many years ago.
Yeah, very much.
Which was Star Wars. Like I remember when I met you, you know, we were both really big Star Wars guys, and it was like it was that and Indiana Jones. I think it was like the two things that we bonded over most when we were kids.
Yeah, and you like Rocky too? You know, Rocky,
yeah.
It just kept adding up, and it was like, you're my friend now. You know, kind of.
You like the same things that I like.
Right.
We have no real criteria for friendship back then. We're just, you like the same things.
Right, yeah, that's it. Star Wars is one of those things, man. You met a fellow Star Wars fan, like a real fan, not just like, I saw them when I was like 8. Is that the one where the guy is like 20 years? Right, exactly.
But no,
that's it. It bonds people.
Yeah,
It used to bond people, and then it tore them apart for a little bit there.
It really
that's
did.
a whole other topic.
It really did with the prequels, but we covered that like way back. And it was like episode 3, I think, when we did post-traumatic prequel disorder.
Right. Yeah.
But if
very real thing,
go to the YouTube page and check that out if you'd like to know more. Anyways, yeah. So about a week ago, I posted the Suicide Squad review. That was the last episode I did. And one of the last things I said at the end of it was, I guess the not Force Awakens, wow, I'm going way back in the past. The Rogue One trailer is coming out tomorrow. Posted the podcast, and less than 45 minutes later, the Rogue One trailer hit.
They posted early?
Well, no, I think it was a night. I think I just had my nights wrong.
Oh, okay.
But I've since watched it like 5 or 6 times, man. I am obsessed with the new Force. Why do I want to keep calling it Force Awakens? Damn it.
Well, I guess that's because that's like the start of this whole new Star Wars
anthology.
Yeah, right, exactly. So
yeah,
it feels like the new Force Awakens anthology. It's like no, that's just the name of the one.
Rogue One. Stop calling it Force Awakens. Rogue One. So if you missed it, you didn't miss it. If you're listening to this show,
no,
if you're at all interested in this show, if you are at all interested in this show, you didn't miss the Rogue One trailer. But for those of you who didn't see it, we're going to go ahead. We're going to play it in its entirety right now. If you're listening to us on our audio channel, you'll just get the audio from it. If you're watching it on our YouTube channel, then we'll play it in its entirety. But here we go. This hit last week, the Rogue One trailer. Here.
The world is coming undone. Imperial flags reign across the galaxy.
Can you be trusted without your shackles?
Let's just get this over with, shall we?
We've a mission for you. A major weapons test is imminent. We need to know how to destroy it.
If you're really doing this, I want to help.
Good.
Good. I've been recruiting for the rebellion for a long time.
We destroyed our home. I fight the Empire now.
I fear nothing. All is as the Force wills it.
The captain says you are a friend. I will not kill you.
Thanks. There isn't much time. Every day they grow stronger.
There is a 97.6% chance of failure.
He means well.
This is our chance to make a real difference. Are you with me?
All the way.
Oh man, how can you not be excited for Rogue One at this point in time? If you have any sort of Star Wars fandom in your body, how can you not be excited for Rogue One?
Let me tell you, I've talked to a couple of friends who are like reticent, like, and I'm like, you're still reticent, like you're still like you can't just like open up and be enthusiastic.
Post-traumatic prequel disorder strikes
again,
man.
It all comes back, man. It's like ever since those prequels, people just don't want to open their nerd heart.
I think it's we've discussed it back in episode 3 before, where post-traumatic prequel disorder. I mean, it was like Star Wars was in the prequel series was like very much like an abusive relationship to us.
Oh yeah,
and like we kept coming back because we're like,
you had to finish. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be better this time. You know, like he's taken some self-help classes and he doesn't drink as much anymore, and you know it'll be better.
He didn't mean it. Yeah, and now that like we would come out every time one of them came out, we would all come out of it like that was good.
Yeah.
Right.
But right.
Like
yeah, I remember I think I went to go see episode 2 with you.
Yes.
And we're coming.
And I had been telling you, I was like, yeah, they really whatever course correct, or whatever. And then the months go by, and you start realizing like, oh wait, no, it's terrible.
We were in the parking lot having just watched episode 2, and we were like, was that good? Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I think it was good too. Like it was the lightsaber fight was really cool, right? Yeah, it was really cool.
Right.
And, like we're lying to ourselves.
Real big time total denial.
It was terrible, but I don't think that's going to be the case anymore.
No, I really liked Force Awakens. I mean, I know everyone griped, like, oh, it's too much like A New Hope.
I love Force Awakens.
Say what?
I loved Force Awakens. I really
did. Yeah, I think there were reasons for it being structurally similar to A New Hope, because it was introducing a whole new set of characters, so it couldn't be like a whole new ball game. It had to like be familiar a little bit. But I understand people having that gripe about it, but I feel like I don't know, these people kind of know how to make put movies together. Like the big headliner of Lucasfilm is Kathleen Kennedy, just IMDb her credits. It's like one classic after another of things that she's produced. So she knows how to make movies, and she's picking good directors, and this looks really, really cool.
I agree. And plus, you know what? It's a return to the old. Rogue One returns to that classic era of Star Wars where we first met Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, right. I mean, this, I don't know what the exact time frame is, but it looks like this takes place like 5 minutes before Luke Skywalker right. comes into the scene. You know what I mean?
Think these plans. Right.
These plans that you set up for New Hope. I think they even said, the tagline was, this Christmas, hope lies in rebellion. So right there, they're telling you, like, this is the prologue to New Hope.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what this is all about.
And you get all the familiar. Force Awakens was like the previous films kind of designed, taken to the next level, whereas this one is complete throwback.
It was absolutely
to what the original movies look and
look and feel,
what the ships look like, and
the ships, the stormtroopers,
right,
everything. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a breakdown of that trailer we just watched, and we're going to discuss it, and then we're just going to try to maybe piece together possibly some speculations and decide, what is this movie we're about to see. We have a very general idea of what it is, and what it is looks amazing. But let's like delve into it a little bit. So for the next like 30, 40 minutes, we're going to delve into Rogue One on a deeper level. So, here we go. We just watched it. Mm-hmm. The first thing you see is you get this image of this very busy spaceport on what appears to be, guess what, a desert planet. I don't know that this is. I don't know that we're going back to Tatooine for this.
Maybe it's Jakku.
You know what? And I'll be on a random side note. It took me halfway through watching Force Awakens to figure out for myself
that it wasn't Tatooine.
I thought Jakku was like a city on Tatooine.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah, enough. I mean, there was really nothing that separated it from Tatooine.
It is a planet. It should have other cities. Yeah.
But anyways, we see these ships, Imperial cruisers, all over the place at this very busy spaceport on this. It looks like either Tatooine or Utah, one of the two. I can't really tell.
It could be Geonosis. What was it in Attack of the Clones? Geonosis?
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 No, that was the water planet, wasn't it?
Oh, okay, yeah. Then whatever the rock planet was.
I know which one. Where Obi-Wan had that unnecessary fight scene riding on the back of a giant gecko.
Yes, right, where the big gladiator thing. Yeah, it could be that planet. Could be that thing. Could we return to that? I'm only assuming that because there was the big battle in that one, and maybe the Empire or the Republic had after the war, or no, it would have to be the Empire. Built a station there.
Whatever the case is, let's just not go back to Tatooine. I don't feel like we need to go back there. Let's stay away from Tatooine.
No, and I mean, and I think people are like, well, we need to have more worlds. It's like there's only so much terrain in the types of terrain in the universe before it just kind of gets ridiculous. You know what I mean?
That's where the thing, though. I feel like
so if we have another rock planet, then okay, fine.
Well, what bothers me about the planets in the Star Wars galaxy is that all of them really kind of seem to be based upon one particular biome of what we know of Earth. So, okay, here's desert. Let's make an entire planet that's desert. Here's ocean. Let's make an entire planet that's ocean. Here's volcanic mountains. Volcano. It's a volcano planet. Like, really? Because that planet would have blown up a long...
How is it sustainable?
That would have blown up a long time ago, but whatever.
Well, that's the old science fiction fantasy, like, leap of logic you think you always have to take. I mean, not to bring up the other star thing, but, like with Star Trek, it's like they always... Earth is like filled with so many cultures,
right?
So many different races, and then whenever they go to an alien planet or another planet, it's just the one culture,
right?
The Klingons,
right.
And it's just like, okay, it's all a metaphor for us, So you always have to kind of take that leap of logic with it,
right. So whether or not we're going back to Tatooine.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Hopefully they're doing something different with it.
It definitely looks like an Imperial space station of some sort.
It's definitely an Imperial hub by what we can see from that first shot.
Right.
So, and we're seeing like the Empire at the height of its power. So this is before the first Death Star is destroyed. Obviously, the Empire has an all-encompassing hold on the galaxy.
And this is technically how many years after Sith?
It's gonna be probably
like
coming
20
up on,
or something.
Well,
almost?
I mean, you got to think if Luke Skywalker came in New Hope, and he was probably about 19, 20 years old at that time in his life.
Right.
And this is right before that. So we're looking at probably about 20 years after Episode 3.
Okay, yeah.
If I had to guess.
So they're riding high.
Right.
The Empire.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had 2 decades of Imperial rule. Now, the next shot, we're introduced to a character called Saw Gerrera, who's played by Forrest Whitaker. And he says, "The world is coming undone. Imperial flags reign across the galaxy." Now, as he says this, we see all of these Imperial Star Destroyers that are just lit up across the sky. So once again, we're getting a sense of just how powerful the scope of the Empire is at this point in time. And we're also introduced, like I said, we're introduced to 2 characters in these few seconds. Saw Gerrera, who we've seen before in the Star Wars universe, actually. As you know, they nuked the Star Wars Expanded Universe when Disney bought it, with the exception of Clone Wars and the movies, and then the books that they wrote afterwards. But we've
anything after Jedi.
Anything after Jedi, right. But we've been introduced to Saw Gerrera in his younger years in the Clone Wars series. So this is kind of cool because this is the first character that we've actually seen introduced from the cartoon series that has now made his leap into a major feature film.
Has that ever happened before?
I don't think it has.
Like in a canon world, a cartoon character, like obviously a live action character has become a cartoon character, but I don't know if a cartoon character has ever then became a live action character.
No, I think
in a single canon,
right?
You know?
And I think that this is the first that it's happened. Definitely for Star Wars that I know of. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that we've not seen another character that was introduced in the cartoon series that has made their way.
Yeah, and it's a part of the story.
It's a part of the story.
Obviously,
now.
Harley Quinn from animated series, but that's not the same canon.
So Saw Gerrera appeared in the 5th season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and there's an episode called "A War on Two Fronts." So in this one, he actually fights alongside Anakin and Ahsoka. So he was he fought with the Old Republic in the Clone Wars. So he's a Clone Wars veteran. So he's
old school.
He is old school. He fought.
He's no imperialist.
He's definitely not an imperialist. He fought with the Republic, and it's made pretty obvious right off the bat he is loyal to the Republic. And he is speaking to our new heroine for this series, who goes by the name of Jyn Erso. So there we have that.
Played by Felicity Jones.
Yes. What else was she in? Do you know?
She's man. So many actors have appeared in the last. It feels like the entire regime of like Hollywood stars has changed in like 2 years. And she was in The Theory of Everything 2 years ago.
Okay.
Which she got nominated for playing Jane Hawking, who was Stephen Hawking's wife at the time.
Oh, okay.
And she's just an actress from England. She's born in the 80s. Actually born the year Return of the Jedi came out. And so she's just I guess you would, I guess you could say up and coming, but she seems like she's made it.
Well,
she's starring in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, if you star in a Star Wars movie.
Academy Award nominee. Yeah, I think she's here and here to stay.
If you star in a Star Wars movie, you made it.
Right, exactly.
So Jyn Erso is our new heroine for this one-shot story that takes its rightful place in the Star Wars anthology. Now we are introduced to a new sort of hotshot, kind of young, slick, suave-looking guy who's carrying or basically showing her into this room in handcuffs. This is one of our new heroes, Cassian Andor. And he's asking Jyn, can you be trusted without your shackles? So we know that this is a hero that one would refer to as either kind of like a bad seed from birth, or maybe she had a rough upbringing, or she's rough around the edges. Whatever the case may be, she's not a goody two-shoes. She's been arrested and is now in the capture of the rebellion for some unknown reason.
Yeah, she's this is kind of the classic, if like Rey was kind of like the classic Arthurian character,
Yes.
then Jaren Erso is sort of the classic Maverick character.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking
no
that.
no roots planted,
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where we have the Empire, and it's this very bad organization, and it's almost kind of like a Suicide Squad sort of thing. Like, well, they're bad. We need someone that's bad.
Yeah, it's going to be cool to find out why they get her.
Well, I think it's one of those things where she was just sort of a street tough, raised
street
rat. Yeah, exactly. Kind of raised by her wits, and learned very quickly what she needed to do to get by. And she's a survivor. I think that's ultimately what it came down to. And she doesn't have any respect for the rules, because the system has no respect for her.
Right.
So
yeah, it's like she's a Snake Plissken.
It very much so. There you go, Snake Plissken, but much less cheesy.
Right.
So now we have Jen meeting Mon Mothma, who is a very prominent figure, classic figure that we saw in Return of the Jedi, and
with the creepiest line in Star Wars history.
Many Bothans died to bring us this. Which, by the way, as a side note, I've heard a lot of people say, like, "Well, where are the Bothans? Where are the Bothans?"
Yeah, they're getting confused. That's Return of the Jedi.
That's Death Star 2. And maybe we'll see that movie somewhere down the line. The Bothans,
the Bothans.
The Bothans in their great sacrifice.
God knows, you never know. Yeah? But yeah, a lot of people were. You're right. A lot of people were assuming like, "Oh, is this the Bothan story?" And it's like, no. Calm down. And the cool thing about Mon Mothma is she is the actress.
I was gonna say is that she's dead on. Like, I don't know if they intentionally, if she naturally looks that way or not, but they.
Oh, she is dead on, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, you could line up. You know what? Actually, I'll tell you what. If you're watching this on my YouTube page, I'm going to go ahead and throw up a picture of the two of them side by side right now. Okay? So, there you go. You're looking at it. You can see how they line up for yourself.
Yeah, it's great casting.
It's dead on. And I think, and I just really respect that attention to continuity, where they're like, all right, well, if we have to recast an actor we've already seen, we're going to make sure that this could pass as the same person.
Right, it's not like Kristen Wiig.
I can't. I tell you what, man, and that's one of my pet peeves. Like, I cannot stand it when you have a character that's like recast from like movie to movie, same character, different actor, because it for me it fucks with the continuity, and I can't get past it. Like, I'm still, like, this many movies later, I'm still trying to get past Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner when it was Edward Norton to begin with. I know,
yeah,
you know what a big fan of Edward Norton I am, man.
Of course. But
But
Mark Ruffalo is great.
But
well, I mean, I think the biggest problem, just real quick, the biggest offender of that is probably the James Bond series pre the Daniel Craig thing. Like, technically, everything from the Sean Connery movies all the way to Pierce Brosnan is canon. Like, that's one character. It's like, what? How is this possible?
Well, I have my own theory for that, but I'll go into that some other time when we're actually talking about.
That's another episode, right?
That's another episode.
And also for Mon Mothma, I don't know if you knew this. The actress Genevieve O'Reilly is her name. She played the part in the prequels, but it was cut out.
Hold on, wait a minute. So this actress that plays Mon Mothma in this movie was in George Lucas's prequels.
Was casted by Lucas actually in Revenge of the Sith, and there's a deleted scene. I don't know if you can pop it up on YouTube.
Okay.
Of like, it's like the beginning of the rebellion. Of course, it's typical prequel Lucas staging. Everyone's just sitting, planning a rebellion.
Sitting, walking, turning, looking out the window, turning back, dialogue.
Yeah. But she's there, and it's that actress playing Mon Mothma. So I guess they were just like, let's not look for another actress. She's right there. Someone call her. Get her number. It's got to be in the Lucasfilm files.
Sorry we cut your scenes, but we'd like you to come back now.
Yeah, if anything, an even cooler looking role for Mon Mothma than her sitting.
Right. So from there, we jump into Mon Mothma. She has her line of dialogue. She says, a major weapons test is imminent. We need to know how to destroy it. So at this point, like, we already know without even the shadow of a doubt, we know exactly what this major weapons test is, what it is they're looking for. But they're going to go ahead.
You figure the whole galaxy knows, because this has also been being built for 20 years.
Well, the thing's the size of a damn moon, man. Like,
Right. What the hell is that? As you fly by, right? It's being worked on.
Moon.
Nothing to see here. Traffic guys are like, nope, move along.
So we need to know how to destroy it. So at this point, we see a shot of a giant Imperial Star Destroyer that is being completely overshadowed by, you guessed it, the Death Star. And I've heard some people bitch and say, like, oh, no, not the Death Star. We can't have another Death Star. And I'm like, bitch, this ain't another Death Star. This is the Death Star.
Right.
This is it, man. We just took a step back in time to give you what you wanted. Don't you bitch it. Don't you bitch on this.
Well, they're probably worried, like, we're going to have another trench run. It's like, no, that trench run is later.
No, that's like, we're not destroying the Death Star on this. We're just going to find out how to destroy it. We're going to find out that there's a thermal exhaust port that's about no bigger than a Womp Rat. So
right.
I mean, that's the whole point of this movie.
That's impossible, Doolin, even for a computer.
Hey, you know what? I'd appreciate it if you not call me out on my podcast, okay?
I'm sorry.
No. We get an idea for the scope of how huge the Death Star is, if you didn't know already.
Right.
So our hero's been kind of set into motion. This is who we are. This is what we...
It's like Jen Erso and Cassian, and are played by Diego Luna, who I have to say is the second Hispanic actor.
Oh,
no, third.
Third. Who was
this?
No, Jimmy Smits was the first, was he not?
He was the first. Jimmy Smits. Well, technically, not everyone knows it because he cut off his Hispanic last name, but Oscar Isaac is actually Oscar Isaac Hernandez.
Oh, really?
Poe Dameron is Hispanic.
I met him last December, man. He spent the entire month in my hometown just kind of vacationing, and he
no
came.
Kidding.
No. Did I not tell you this?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go off on a tangent, but I'll tell you about the time I met Poe Dameron himself. He was a very cool guy.
Cool. Did he give you his jacket?
He unfortunately did not, but like he walked by.
Buddy.
Yeah, no, he walked by, and I got all kind of fanboy flustered and stuff, and I was like, hey, how you doing today? And he just kind of chuckled because like he could tell I recognized him.
Yeah, you're right.
And gave me a pat on the shoulder. He's like, hey man, how are you? And just kind of kept walking.
It would have great. He like, may the force be with you, and just touched your face as you passed out.
I'd have nerded out. But
that's pretty cool.
Very much so. But anyway, so we have we go off on tangents. That's what we do. We're the show derailers here.
Yeah, sorry.
No. It's all good. So Cassian Andor says, if you're really doing this, I want to help. So this guy has. I know Cassian Andor is I had to research who he is a little bit. He's just a rebel field operative. That's all. He's a rebel spy.
He's clearly going to be the straight lace
basically this is kind of reversed where if you had Luke Skywalker was the straight-laced kid and Han Solo was kind of the roguish character.
Right.
This is reversed, and this, your Luke Skywalker is kind of roguish and your Han Solo is the straight-lace, I think is
right.
So it's
going to be great when Diego Luna's like, I'm too old for this shit.
2 more days till retirement.
The saxophone comes in.
Oh God.
But no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's probably going to be like, you can't do that. And he's like, we have to try, or whatever, situation will arise.
Exactly.
Or probably along with Forrest Whitaker, convincing her, for her responsibilities, doing a higher thing.
Well, I think he's going to be. I think he's kind of the Obi-Wan Kenobi character of this story.
Vet,
yeah. Where he's going to just sort of play the mentor. He pops in to give some friendly advice, some friendly black optimistic advice, and then he takes off.
Right.
So we have the hero, the sidekick, and he says, "If you want to do this, I'm going to help." And she just says, "Okay, good." And so the two of them are sitting side by side in the cockpit of the ship, and you just really get a sense for the scope and the scale of what they're going up against.
Yeah, the shots look great.
The shots look great. We see more shots of the Empire at the height of their power at this point. Now, at this point, we've been introduced to the main characters. Now, we're about to see some secondary characters. So as we're seeing these shots of the Empire, we hear a voiceover from an unseen face, so it's a line of dialogue. He says, "We have been recruiting for the rebellion for a long time now." With this voice, we see presumably what I'm assuming are to be slaves or Imperial prisoners in shackles. So we see the Imperial occupation of the galaxy, more of that. In this one, they're either taking a lot of prisoners or they're taking slaves. We're not really sure which. Now, at this point, we're introduced to Grand Assassin Baze Malbus. This guy is sort of the long-haired, scruffy guy you saw with the beard, and he screams, "You destroyed our home." We see this guy with this heavy artillery blaster just open fire on all of these stormtroopers, and then you see a shot of him. He walks, he looks back over his shoulder as he says, "I defy the Empire now." So what we're seeing now is the stirrings of the rebellion all over the galaxy. So this is the Empire at the height of its power, and this man that we're seeing for the first time is Baze Malbus, and he is the absolute product of this unjust Imperial occupation. Like I said, he's an assassin, and he's also very experienced in the field, as we see. So Baze Malbus is going to be another one of these probably roguish characters that I'm guessing.
Probably one of like a Dirty Dozen badass kind of guy.
Absolutely.
And he's played by an actor, this guy Jiang Wen, who is a big-time Chinese film actor and director.
Okay.
Apparently. So,
I thought he looked kind of Asian. I wasn't really sure.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of things. He did a lot of movies with the director who directed Hero a long time ago and stuff like that. He's real big in China. So so for Chinese audiences, that's probably like, holy shit, he's in a Star Wars movie,
Is this the Dustin Hoffman movie Hero you're referring to, or?
No, the Jet Li movie Hero.
Oh, okay. There was another one, but okay.
No. Yeah, that's a throwback.
Yeah, it is a throwback. But Jet Li Hero, got it.
HBO on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh my god. Oh man. Oh, my face is red. We've seen this guy. We've seen the scope of what he is capable of. This guy is an absolute field badass. And we're about to be introduced to another badass, because the next thing we see and hear is the lines of the character, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Chirrut Imwe, and he says, "I fear nothing. All is as the Force wills it." So we see this this Asian guy coming in. I know that he is like a martial arts actor.
Donnie Yen, big-time martial artist and known for Ip Man, Hong Kong film star.
A lot of my friends, when we were watching, like, that's Ip Man. That's Ip Man. I'm like, who is?
Yeah. That's a famous one, right?
Yeah, I think that's what he's best known for. So
you probably might remember him. He is part of the crew in Blade 2.
Oh, I do remember him from Blade 2.
He pulls out the samurai swords and battles with the Reapers.
That's right. Yeah, he was badass in that.
Yeah. So he's back in a big one, back in a big Hollywood movie.
Back in a big bad way. Now he's an interesting character because he says, "I fear nothing. All is as the Force wills it." So he's most certainly a follower of the Force, but he's not. You can tell right off the bat, he's no Jedi.
Yeah, and I'm very, very glad about that. And
because we didn't need a Jedi.
Yeah, some of my friends are like, he's probably going to be the Jedi, and I'm like, no. See, this is
Jedi are wiped out.
This is the point in history when they're not around anymore. So now the Force is really just like, it's a spiritual belief as opposed to like, a practice. Well, it's like like, may the Force be with you. You're like, go with God.
Exactly. You don't have to be religious to say, I'll pray for you.
Yeah, you don't have to be a Jedi to be. Yeah,
exactly.
But he seems to be blind. His eyes are definitely. He
is most definitely blind. So he's obviously he's not a Jedi. He doesn't have any training in the Force, and he fights with a staff rather than a lightsaber.
Yeah.
However, I think he's Force sensitive enough, and he's in tuned enough to where he can actually we have kind of a Daredevil character on our hands. Like through the Force, the Force, he can sense everything and see everything. So he's blind, but he's not handicapped.
He's like Son of a Woman. Son of a Stormtrooper.
No, but I thought that was kind of like a really cool take on it. When you need that character,
that is great.
You need that character that trusts the will of the Force, and he's still Force sensitive, and he can probably still feel the Force just through meditation and training.
Possibly, right.
He's very much comes off very much like a Shaolin monk kind of character.
Don't forget the whole rebellion is. I mean, they say to each other before a mission. At least they establishes it in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Before the Death Star run, may the Force be with you. So the whole rebellion is about like keeping up the old light
ways.
side beliefs of the Force.
Right, before they destroyed all the Jedi.
Exactly.
So
go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm just going to say I'm really excited to see Chirrut Imwe and what he can do, because you see him in this shot as soon as he's approaching this platoon of stormtroopers fearlessly. And of course they open fire on him, and then you don't really see the whole fight because it happens so fast. But the next thing you see is he's armed only with a staff, and with a staff he takes out this entire platoon of armed stormtroopers by himself.
Yeah,
a blind man.
It's good shit.
Absolutely.
It's going to be good shit.
It is. It's going to be, and I mean, if they were going to go with no Jedi in this story, that's a great substitution. I'm
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is very Seven Samurai kind of thing, where like you have your types. You have, and there's
really
always every movie after Seven Samurai has the types, and like there's always the character that's like really serious and monkish and very like into his spiritualism, and this is like that classic mold.
Wait a minute. Let's break this down for a minute. Let's how many characters do we have in this crew? Hold on.
Okay, so we've got
Jin. That's one.
Yeah, we got Cassian Andor.
Two. We've got Baze Malbus, Chirrut Imwe, and then another character that I'm about to introduce right now. So that's 5. So maybe only 5. So maybe not quite. I was wondering. I was like, did they take 7 Samurai? Is kind of a.
Well, they always do. I mean it
it's
more
an
general. I mean it more as a general template,
okay.
Dirty Dozen. Anytime a group of people, it's like, well, boys, we got to do a mission. That's all. The first movie to ever really do that was the Japanese classic Seven Samurai.
Right. Then got made into the Magnificent Seven, which the remake looks amazing, by the way. But we'll go into that
it does look really good.
Okay, cool. So then we're introduced.
I'm saying like it's following. I mean, this is just pure Star Wars doing what even Lucas did. A New Hope was based on a lot of Kurosawa movies, and especially the structure of the story was based on Kurosawa's The Hidden Fortress. Yep. So this is just Star Wars being Star Wars.
Very, very true. It just draws on things that it knows, draws on the archetypes, things that are already popular.
Right.
So now we're introduced to yet another character. So this is sort of like the 5th character in the band that we're about to get introduced to. This is a very large and imposing droid, and it towers over our hero and says, the captain says, "You are a friend. I will not kill you." Now here's a little. So this is K2SO. This is a giant enforcer droid that we've met. Who little fun fact there is voiced by Alan Tudyk. And who is probably best known amongst people that are fans of this genre from Firefly. So,
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a number.
I remember him mostly as the big giant racist in the movie 42 about Jackie Robinson, where he yells the N-word for what seems like 40 minutes at Jackie Robinson, and you're just like squirming in your seat.
You're in the theater, you're looking around.
It's like, oh God!
Is there a black dude in the theater? No. Okay. And if there is, you just kind of slink.
I don't agree with this guy.
He does not represent me or my people.
Exactly. But yeah, Alan Tudyk. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, that was a joke. His claim. Yeah, definitely Firefly is the big thing.
Right. That's the big thing for him. So they hey, come on into the Star Wars universe, and he'd be crazy to say no. So interesting little piece of information. Before I even went in to research anything about this character, I actually pulled it all together just from looking at him on the trailer. Like, he's this giant security enforcer droid, and I looked at his arm.
Have we seen that type of droid before?
Yes, we have. And I looked at his arm, and I saw the mark of the Empire on his arm. And I looked at it and I said, this is a reprogrammed Imperial Enforcer droid that we have joining. So he is kind of Cassian's droid, basically. So Cassian has this Enforcer droid that is, I think this character is kind of your Chewbacca, essentially.
Right.
Big and powerful, kind of plays the sidekick to the hero character, not the hero, the sidekick character, if you will. So
but he's like the lethal buddy of
he's the muscle.
Yeah, see that's there you go, man. That's like classic. That's like Guns of Navarone. That's like Gregory Peck, who's like kind of like the straight laced leader of the group. and then Anthony Quinn played like his like Greek badass, who would say shit like that.
Right. So I mean, like, okay, so that's those are our main 5 that I was able to pull from the trailer, and from what I could tell, like they've done a really cool job of putting together like a very cool kind of diverse group of heroes for this mission.
Yeah.
Like I've never quite seen anything like it before, and it's exciting.
Big time.
The next shot we see Jen, or we hear Jen say, "There isn't much time." Now, as she says that, we see the Death Star eclipsing the sun of some random planet. So, like, this thing blocks out the sun from a planet, which is how big it is. Like, it's this full eclipse. Every day, they go stronger, she says. Now, as she says this, we're introduced to a villain. This character's name is Orson Krennic. He is the director of advanced weapons research for the Imperial military, and he has been on the Death Star project for many, many, many years. He's let's see, Wikipedia just said that he's a cruel but brilliant man and has staked his reputation on the delivery of the functional battle station to the Emperor. So this
he's got a deadline.
He's got a deadline to keep, and the Emperor is not that forgiving. If you don't remember from Return of the Jedi, the Emperor wants it done, and he wants it done yesterday. So this is the guy he's brilliant, he's a mastermind, and he is obsessed with getting this project completed.
Yeah, he looks like single-minded about it.
I thought he was. I thought he was maybe a Moff, like a Grand Moff or something like that at the beginning.
He's got a cool-looking cloak.
He does have a very cool-looking cloak. That's kind of why I thought he was a Moff, but he's not. But he is
just stylish.
He is in charge of things, presumably on board the Death Star while it's under construction.
And he's played by actor Ben Mendelsohn, who's just recently kind of popped through.
Yeah.
A working actor. He's like over 40 years old and everything. Australian actor, but he's popped through. He played, what was the character in Dark? He was in Dark Knight Rises, who assisted Bane.
Was he really?
Yeah. The guy who's like.
Was he the guy that sacrificed himself? Oh, not that guy. Okay.
No. Yeah, he's the guy. John Daggett. He played Daggett.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that guy
who gets crushed. Apparently, maybe crushed off screen by Bane.
Okay.
Definitely murdered by Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. He helped him get into Gotham and all that stuff. Yeah, and he's on a TV show, a pretty well-liked TV show called Bloodline, which he's been nominated for awards for on Netflix. So, once again, they were sparing no expense. It's like John Hammond, sparing no expense, getting really top-of-the-line actors.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's a really good choice for a villain. Because I haven't seen a lot of his work, but a lot of my friends have seen Bloodline, and they say he is incredible.
And also, I think it was really important that they went with a villain that wasn't Jedi, wasn't Sith. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You gotta get away from that.
I'd be perfectly happy with not seeing a single lightsaber battle in this movie. I really would be happy with it.
Right.
Doesn't need to be.
You don't need. This is the war one.
Yeah. This is the espionage movie.
Exactly. I think that, and if anything, I think this is going to give more tension to it because it's not. I mean, the biggest thing with sci-fi fantasy is when you start dealing with people with superpowers, whether it's superheroes or Jedis or something, you do take a little bit of tension away.
Sure.
Because they're not. They can't be as hurt as readily as a regular human. Whereas with this, now it's wow, Star Wars with no
powers.
Yeah, no one's got something that they can block that blade. I'll block that laser blast. No, they have to duck and cover.
Yeah.
Against that kind of thing.
I love it.
It's gonna be more gritty.
More gritty, more of a war film. And at this point in the trailer is where we have. God, I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills just talking about it because this is the point where I really started to go ape shit because everything in the trailer starts to go ape shit. You just see. There's explosions and battles that are taking place kind of reminiscent of World War II storming the beaches at Normandy. We have this epic battle taking place on the beach. We see X-Wing fighters flying overhead. We see a tank firing upon civilian housing. Massive explosions. Stormtroopers go flying in multiple directions. And over all of this, we have the instrumental swell playing an even darker, more intense version of the Imperial March. So they took the darkest song from the original Star Wars, and they amped it up another level. Which
it goes from that. It keeps playing, and then it at the end goes into the
Force theme.
The Force theme, right. And you get the AT walkers and everything.
Yeah, you see Baze fire a rocket launcher at an AT-AT, and like it blows up the head. And at that point is where like the Imperial March is slowly kind of overplayed by the Force theme, which was brilliant because you got to think like this is everything at the height of its darkness, and as they say, it's darkest just before the dawn. Like we're seeing that this is the glimmer of hope for the galaxy at this point.
This is their glimmer of a new hope.
Oh,
what? Drop the mic.
And then like things slow down, and you hear Jen say, "Are you with me?" Now this was kind of like one of the most powerful images I saw in this trailer. Is you see Jen, and she's walking alone, and she's got a blaster in her hand, and she's walking on top of this looks like a catwalk or something on top of a building.
Yeah.
And then slowly a TIE fighter just rises up to meet her.
That's total like last stand of the gunfighter kind of.
And then kind of fades out, and then we're treated with just that old familiar breathing that we've heard so many times before. And
my mother. Just kidding.
Yeah, that. And then we see the big man from just for half a second. Half a second of
he's
Vader.
Reading the paper.
He's reading the paper.
Not. He's not.
No, but that tells me, he's not going to be a huge prominent role in this.
I hope not.
But you know what? I'm happy that he's going to be in it, because if you think at the beginning of New Hope, he comes storming on board this ship from Alderaan, and he's pissed. He's been looking for these plans. This is how he loses them. He's going to lose them to this girl, basically.
To a girl.
To a girl. She can't even play baseball. No, but I think, and here's my prediction. This isn't a spoiler. This is my prediction. Is I feel that this character, we are never going to see her again after this. Her role in the story has been played. I feel that she is going to be the one to face down Vader herself, while everybody gets away with the plans. That's what I feel like they're setting up for. Like, this is going to be a grand sacrifice.
I would not be surprised if a lot of these characters die.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're all expendable characters. You know what I mean?
Right.
All of them. This is a standalone story. We're not going to see a sequel to this.
The Expendables, the Star Wars story.
Yeah, really. It's the Expendables. But we're not going to see a sequel to this, because the sequel to this already exists. It's Episode 4, A New Hope.
Right.
So I think that Vader's going to come out at the end, and we're going to see her face down Vader by herself, and everybody else will get away with the plans. That's just my prediction. And I dare say, man,
they got to get him to the R2 unit.
This is true. But
no, they got to get him, to Leia. They got to at least get him to Leia.
Well, I don't think we're going to see Leia in this story. And
no, they're not going to Benjamin Button Carrie Fisher.
What's that?
They're not going to Benjamin Button Carrie Fisher, where like she's like ridiculously young looking and stuff.
I've heard some people say that her daughter actually could pass as.
Right. I heard about that.
I haven't seen pictures, but apparently.
I just hope they don't ruin it too much, like some young Harrison. Hey, just flying
some
by.
Kid. Hey, I'm little Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that.
No, well, I mean, that's the next thing they're going to do. Apparently, is the young Han Solo story, which I'm very much against, but we'll see how it goes.
Right. Yeah, I'm a little bit mixed about it myself too. Yeah.
But that's it, man. That's the entirety of Rogue One, the trailer, and I got to say, I'm kind of more excited for Rogue One than I am for Episode 8.
Oh yeah, it's coming out sooner.
Well, not even that. Like just the premise of the story and the return of the old. I'm excited about it, man. I'm ready for this movie to happen.
Yeah, I'm in the thinking of like we talked about, post traumatic prequel disorder.
Sure.
I have let myself open, like when Force Awakens teasers started happening 2 years ago, or a year ago and stuff. Like I let myself be hopeful as opposed to whatever, it's probably gonna suck, like a lot of people did. And so, but it's still modulated. Like the wounds are still there.
Yeah.
What is it? It's like the wounds have healed, but the scar will always be there.
Right.
Kind of thing. So it's like, I'm really, really excited about Rogue One, and one at a time kind of thing. Like, I'm just thinking of Rogue One now. When Rogue One's over, then I'll think about Episode 8.
Yep, exactly. It's day at a time, day at a time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited. I mean, I'm really glad Star Wars is kind of back, and I'm really glad it's not in the hands of Lucas.
True.
It sounds like blasphemy, but I don't think he was the filmmaker he was when he made the first one anymore.
Right.
And he made a lot of stupid decisions, and now it's back with people who, okay, it's a Disney entity. It's not being made out of some sort of like Van Gogh creative inspiration.
Well, I think most
being
importantly,
made to make money, but you can make them well.
Yeah, and I think most importantly is they're trying to perform fan service at this point. Obviously, it's about the money as well, but they know how much is invested in this. Like, they spent billions of dollars buying the property, and if the fans don't like it, they're gonna. Well, I would say they're gonna not.
I don't believe though. I have to say this. I don't believe in being too fan servicey. Because because then all it is just fan fiction. It's like if you give the fans everything they want, then there's no surprise.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So there has to be. I mean, this is kind of like a different topic, but there has to be a kind of the best things we liked as kids are things that surprised us.
Sure. Yeah.
So it can't just always be nostalgia stuff, But that's why Rogue One is intriguing, because even though it's like in the world, it's Star Wars in a way.
But that's been it, man. That's our breakdown of Rogue One. We hope that you guys are as excited about it as we are. I know I am.
You gotta say the full title.
What?
Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
You gotta say the full title.
It's a Star Wars story. That's it. It's Rogue One, a Star
I think that's the
Wars
official title, isn't it? Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
It's Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's not an episode or anything like that. It's part of the anthology, but it's not within the trilogy or the 3 trilogies at this point. So
there you go.
I'm super psyched about it.
It's great.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull the plug on it there. I'm gonna go ahead and take a week off, guys. If you're listening to the podcast, great. I won't be back this coming week, but I will be back the following week. I'm gonna record from Dragon Con in Atlanta, as well as I'm gonna post some live videos from there. So if you're following the Facebook page, make sure you tune in when you get that live notification. See what I'm up to up there. See who I'm talking to. See who I'm meeting. And just come back and listen when I podcast live from Dragon Con the week after next, man.
Woohoo!
Looking forward to it. Rick, thanks so much for joining me today for this Rogue One breakdown, brother.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Any Star Wars stuff, any Game of Thrones stuff, any stuff, any nerd stuff.
Any nerd stuff. I'll call you in, man, when I need you, just like I always do.
And just send my signal. It's a pizza slice.
Say, is it a pizza
silhouetted?
I was just gonna say, is it a slice of pizza? Oh man.
Oh, I'm needed.
I'm needed. They need me.
Gotta go.
Well, welcome to Nerdtopia. I'm Doolin Dalton.
And I'm Rick Rodriguez.
And thanks for nerding out with us, guys. Have a good night.